Okay, it's around that time, you know. It is around that time. The final boss. I'm still fasting. And I'm feeling it right now. Cause it's been dry. You know, I hit legs earlier. Slept way more than I was supposed to. But it's all good. And I'm gonna hit the gym again. Now, I think I'm gonna break my fast and get some water shortly. But I'm gonna keep fasting water afterwards. So, by the way, this mic, as I've mentioned before, excellent. Excellent mic. No complaints. I will have the headphones soon, which should be really cool. It should be exciting to experience. But as I'll put on the thumbnail of this live, the mic that's on the thumbnail is the mic. You know, I'm not gonna say there aren't, possibly better mics, and depending on what your purpose is, right? But I think for every specific person, like on the last stream I was talking about, like, you probably shouldn't judge anyone based on whatever you think or you perceive success to be for them, you know? Like, who you? Who you? You know? That's like, you should be asking who you to the next person that judges you, right? Like, who you? So if someone perceives you to be successful or to not be successful, it's like, who you? You know, I am the one that perceives what I think success should be for myself, right? So that's what it comes down to. So the final boss, when it comes down to it, is what you perceive success to be for yourself. And what your opinion of success is for yourself is the best, right? So what anyone else thinks, it really doesn't matter. So, I mean, it matters depending on who that person is, I guess you could say. But really, when it comes down to it, it comes down to what you think. Now, how I see it, right? So this is strictly how I'm playing it. That mic is my final boss. And you could fire away, not just Lila, but whoever wants to fire away, go, feel free. You know, this is your live. It's not my live. It's our live, right? So all of us, we come together and we can make whatever happen. But that mic is my final boss, right? But this is not even the whole. I'm gonna segue into just in general the final boss, right? But I'm just talking about the mic right now. Just like this mic right here is awesome for this purpose, right? On the go, and we have a final boss mic right here, right? That's why it's clear right now. But as far as recording purposes, I consider that mic to be the final boss. Like, I could call Guitar Center up, or Sam Ash, or Sweetwater, or any of them up, and we could discuss that mic, and they'll be like, yeah, that mic, that mic, you know? So, but that's not the final boss, even audio wise, because there's another piece after that. Just like there's another piece coming for this setup, right? It's this mic and then a pair of headphones. And then I'll be like, okay, we're good for now. Okay, so Miss, the government shutdown with respect to food stamps, it's, if you require food stamps and you need the government to be working for those food stamps and you're not able to because the government is shut down, well, I've said this all along, right? It has nothing to do with red, blue, conservative, liberal. The fact that we can't get along from the highest level of the land, honestly, it's as they say, business as usual, right? It's nothing has changed. Like, you can go to every single state in the US and it's like an ongoing thing, and it always has been. You know, we can't get along together, and it's really like, you know how like in every land, right? Every country, we have like each country has something that like makes them think like, dang, if we just didn't have this issue, do you know how powerful our country would be? I can assure you, every country, doesn't matter where you're from. I'm from New York, right? And even in Albany, we know that about New York, right? Forget about everything else that's going on in New York or what you know about New York. When we look at Albany, we know that Republicans and Democrats, we can't think about like, you know, independents, because we're talking about the ones that, you know, are where they are as far as senators are concerned, and the lawmakers in Congress, right? But when it comes down to it, they can't get along. So to get to your question again about the food stamps, it's like, it's a scorn on this country, unfortunately, you know, regardless of where your beliefs are. It's like, if we can't get along and like everyone has to then go through it, because it's not just the government shut down. It's like, it's so much deeper than that, you know? And then everyone has to suffer as a result. So that's what I think. It's like business as usual. It's like, until they get it together, which I don't know when that'll happen, every country has to go through these unfortunate issues, you know? And it usually has to deal with the politics, the politicians of each country. You know, that's why I mentioned, it was either the last live or a few lives ago, how like we can look to certain countries, especially the Norway, Greenway, Scandinavian areas, right? Finland, Denmark. Look at those countries, right? I'm talking about like the lawmakers, right? Those countries got it together. Isaiah, what's up? How's it going? And that's really all I got to say about that. Now, back to the final boss, right? I hope that answers your question, Lila. Uh, I don't know if you were trying to get me to be a little bit more specific, but business as usual. That's what I think. After that, Mike, it will be a console, right? And that console will then be the final boss. Just like with this mic, I was mentioning the next and probably final boss for the time being is the headphones, right? Pair of Sennheisers. Now, in general, the final boss, I'm gonna get to you in a second, Lila, because I'm segueing now to the final boss in life, in general, right? In my opinion, anyways. The final boss in life, in my humble opinion, in my opinion, right? Because I've incorporated a bunch of things with respect to, like, an example. Yesterday, I started hitting weights, and actually where I'm heading right now, my second workout, right? I did legs yesterday, and now I'm going right to the gym to do back. And I'm gonna do the calves that I didn't hit. I'm gonna hit calves, and I'm gonna go right to back, right? So that's an example of, like, I was mentioning the 1% meme on how we should strive for at least 1% per day improvements wise, right? And my cheat meal, I'll get to, like, what you were saying before. My cheat meal, I'm not even gonna mention my cheat meal because I'm gonna be made fun of if I talk about my cheat meal, because my cheat meal is, like, very pathetic, because I've been strict for years. When I say years, I mean years. Like, I don't even want to talk about my cheat meal because it's you're gonna roll your eyes, But for me personally, the final boss is financial freedom, right? And I'm gonna get right back to the cheat meal thing, because I'm gonna tell you, But financial freedom is the final boss, and I will just mention, without going into a whole thing about finances, I will mention how financial freedom then gives you the opportunity to, and it's, I preface this by saying money doesn't just buy, obviously, happiness, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But with that being prefaced, I would say financial freedom can give you a lot of options. That sounds obviously, self-explanatory and common sense, but when you have a lot of other things balanced out and you worked on everything and you set the foundation down, then you can then look into financial freedom and say, I got my mind right, I got my body right, I got this in check. I put a lot of pieces of the puzzle in place so I can say I'm ready for the finances to also be where they're supposed to be, right? When you have everything set and in place, like you're asking about a cheat meal, right? I don't do cheat meals, I'm going to tell you what my cheat meal is so you can roll your eyes at me, but I don't do cheat meals. I haven't done a cheat meal in years. Legit. And I'm fasting right now, dry fasting. I didn't drink water in a day. I'm going to break my fast after this workout. I'm going to do back right now, right? So my cheat meal, and then I'll get back to, you know, what I was just mentioning about the final boss and financial freedom. But I'll have like a Zambian black cherry Bywater, right? No sugar, right? It has like monk fruit extract and like some stevia, and I stopped stevia a while ago. I don't even have stevia, right? So I'll have that. Maybe I'll have a zero vitamin water, and that also has stevia, which is a cheat for me because it has stevia in it, right? And I know you said meal. A cheat meal for me would be like some extra salmon or like high grade sardines on the go. That would be like my cheat meal, you know? So, like I said, Zambian black cherry or like a zero vitamin water with like some good grade sardines on the go. That's like my cheat meal. So hopefully you rolled your eyes, but back to the financial freedom, it's like we have to make sure that we take our dollars, right? Because this is how I equate financial freedom to actually being a success. Just like I'm going to the gym right now while I'm fasted, right? Because I know that equates to success over time. Because we just talked about the government shutdown, right? Business as usual as far as politics are concerned, right? When it comes down to like inflation and every dollar you can possibly scrounge together, forget about like what it takes or what you think it takes. We take every single dollar that we can muster up and together and we invest. Plain and simple. It's like, in my humble opinion, the only way I can attain success with respect to financial freedom. Commodities, equities, and equities is the whole basket, right? Real estate is there as well, but under equities, you got the markets. And once that's done and you have financial freedom, for me personally, that's the final boss because all the other pieces have been put together. Okay, that's a good cheat meal, you know, unlike mine, where my cheat meal was like eye roll worthy. Your cheat meal, Lila, is awesome. Ben, that's a nice one too, you know. I'm not gonna front. Like a few years ago, some mac and cheese with some tuna, that slaps right there. I wouldn't mind, you know, but I think it's, so your opinion on Norway, that's a good point because it's almost like Japan, right? I'm not necessarily saying like everyone is xenophobic where they just like they don't even want foreigners or like they don't want anyone else in their mix. But when you have a country that is so like diverse like ours, I'm not exactly sure if you're from the States, but like it's so mixed over here that like for example, I'm in New York, right? If you go to Queens, if you just walk around in Queens, and Queens is not only so diverse, so populated, obviously it's also New York City, right? But like the land, the geography of Queens is gigantic, right? It's such a huge space of land, right? But the point is, it's so diverse that you see like 17 East Asian people, then you'll have like 26 South Asian people, and then you'll have people from Norway over there, and then you'll have some Arabs right there, and then you get the picture, but it's all in like one area. It's like, where do you do that at? Like, you don't see that anywhere. You don't just have a bunch of Dominicans. Oh, look, great minds, right? You don't just have a bunch of Dominicans right there. You got Peruvians there, and then you have Guatemalans there, Nicaraguans there, and it's not just Mexicans and Puerto Ricans neither. No, we're talking about like Costa Ricans. You'll have every type of person, and it's like, that's not even it, you know? So I understand when you say like how multicultural this area is. It does cause strife because everyone is thinking so differently. And that is challenging for sure. Now, when it comes to, yeah, exactly. The Mexicans, right? So we can't forget the Mexicans. Way. And sorry, I just want to make sure I don't, because trust, I am on the road, but I am very in tune, like I am very aware. I have a lot of experience driving, and I'm in the Bronx right now. So people, and it's like that time, it's 6 something in the morning. Like, even though it's dark outside, trust and believe, everyone is just walking freely. Cause this ain't the Village in Manhattan. No, this is the BX. Like, people do what they want out here, however they want, especially at these times. Like, they're getting somewhere, they got to get somewhere, they're going to get there, and they're not really caring about anything else. So I got to make sure, I am not disrupting them and they're not disrupting me while we're engaging at the same time. So when it comes to, let me go back for a second. That used to be Vegan for 3. Yeah. I was actually full on plant-based, whole plant-based, for a whole year and change, very recent. Recently I was doing the whole plant-based thing. I only just recently incorporated fish and eggs. It was first fish and then eggs, right? Because I wanted to boost my cholesterol a little, my good cholesterol. And I don't have oxidative issues that come with scrambling, because I don't. I just do soft boiled, or what do you call it? Over easy, like where the yolk is on top and it's like soft. Yeah, I do it that way. So I don't, like, there's no oxidative damage from the cholesterol, the fat. So I just started that recently, and yeah, I'm just now getting into working out again. So hopefully the mic levels are good, As far as sushi is concerned, as you can tell, forgive me for, getting back to the chat slow. I'm definitely, like I said, I'm focused on the road, and It's that time. If it was like 3 hours ago, then like I wouldn't have to be this focused on the road, right? But then 3 hours ago, there wouldn't probably be engagement like this. So it's one of those things. But I've never really gotten into sushi, because at this point, Lila, if you're still there, like I know what works for me. And I'm one of those people, I'm so disciplined that I don't change. It's like, think about it this way, right? If you go to a gas station and it's like, that's your gas station. Like, you don't even change. Like, if you get like 87, 89, whatever it is, 90 something, like I'm driving electric, so I haven't gone to a gas station in years, right? But if you let's just say you do 89, right? The middle one. And you have a certain gas station. I don't know, Mobil, Sunoco, I don't know what you do, right? And you go to that gas station and you don't ever change. You have a like a ritual, right? Like it's religious, it's your routine. And you, like, what's the point of honking like that, bro? Seriously. Like, you are literally in traffic that's not moving. Like, if you can't control it, let go of it. Seriously. It's like noise pollution. And I know people have road rage crazily, but at the same time, it's like, you honking is not gonna make all these people like suddenly be, oh wow, he's honking. You know what? No, like, it's not like people, like there's someone like falling asleep and he's like, oh shoot, let me go, let me go. Someone's okay. No, it's like legit traffic where no one can move. So the honking is not gonna do, like, anyways. So yeah, when I mentioned 89 at the gas station, and you go to that gas station and that's where you routinely, like, I don't change it. I go to work, I come back, I need some gas, I go to that Mobil, I get my 89. It's what works for me, right? That's how I am with food. Like, I don't change. And a lot of the times, it's easy for me to fast, in case, like, and honestly, this will be quite the, hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. So a lot of the times what's going to be challenging is that people like to push food on others. And to me, food is very sacred. Sacred in the fact that, it's like, it's very serious to me. So like, if you talk about, like, let's just say chocolate, right? It might just bring a smile to your face, or it might just be like, if someone's like, yo, I busted them the clays down, right? It might make different people smile together, right? But for me, I could smile with people because they're having fun and they're enjoying themselves. But me, I take it extremely, like, it's a lifestyle for me. Like, nothing changes. I go to that Mobil for that 89 and I fuel my vehicle, and it doesn't change. So if we could put it in that way of thinking, then that means, like, no one is going to put any different type of gas into my vehicle because I know what works for me. And if I am somewhere where I can't get something similar to my Mobil 89, I'm just not going to have it until I get close to fumes. And then I'm going to, like, when I have the opportunity to do it how I want to do it and get the fuel I want, I'm going to wait on it. And I know that might rub people the wrong way because they want to give their gas to you, but I have to respectfully decline because I know what fuel I like and what works best for me and what has my vehicle optimally functioning, you know? So that's what it comes down to. And that's why, like, something like sushi, I know that was long-winded, but I had to, like, break it down, I guess, metaphorically. But I never really got into sushi, so I never really... And nowadays, especially, because, you know, I think my body is, like, adjusted, and I have a good digestive system. Been doing probiotics for a long time. Unless I wipe everything out with antibiotics and I have to start over, which is probably going to take a whole year and change, then, you know, I think my body can handle pretty much anything. So it's not like I can't. I can, but I won't. So I'm not going to. That's just what it comes down to. And unfortunately, I have to respectfully decline every single time. And, you know, if I'm at someone's place and they, like, took the time to show love and, like, create something and make something, I have to respectfully decline. But this is our national dish. This is what our king or our royalty have. You have to try this while you're here. I have to respectfully decline. And I will do that for the rest of my life because I know what works for me and has been. And until that changes, I'm going to keep going to mobile and I'm going to keep having that 89, you know? So I know I just went crazy. I've never been to NYC. Always wanted to go there. What from overseas? Either in the... Oh, you know what's crazy? Like, that's a very good point, Lila. Like, you're either in the expensive tourist area or you're in the trenches. That's kind of like how the country is, right? You're either rich or you're poor. But that's how a lot of places are as well. So, I mean, I think that's like, I can see that, and I'm sure a lot of New Yorkers can see that as well. But it's kind of like far-fetched at the same time, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's a little exaggerative, you know? Like, when you see how everything works, it's like, that's why I brought a smile to my face, because it's like true, right? But at the same time, if we go a little deeper, it's like there's in between. Like, let's be honest, you know? There's a middle class still. There's still in between. And there's still, you don't have to be in the trenches. You don't have to be in the projects. You don't have to be in the gutter. And you don't have to be, like, in Scarsdale somewhere where, like, you only have to go to an Equinox gym. No. You don't have to just be on Park Ave in Manhattan. That's not true neither. So when it comes down to it, like, there are a lot of places here in New York where you can enjoy something in between. But you have to really kind of be well-traveled. And when I say well-traveled, I don't mean like, you know, you're all over the world. No, I mean like well-traveled in New York itself. Like, you gotta get around. Like, you gotta know. Like, that's why this channel was kind of formed as well, as far as like when I started picking up steam to like really consider showing New York off. That's what I mean. Well-traveled. Like, we are becoming well-traveled. If you stay here on this channel, you will see what well-traveled in New York actually means, right? Okay, to be fair, I'm not including Greene County You know, Schenectady, Rochester, Clinton, Broome, Brewster. There are a lot of places, and when I say Brewster, because that borders Connecticut, but like Orange, Putnam, Rockland. So there are a lot of places that I'm not, to be fair, including into the mix. And that's just, I'm just being realistic, because I can't practically go to all these places on a regular basis and get to show off New York. I can show off the 5 boroughs. I can show off Westchester County. I can even go into New Jersey, Connecticut, and on a rare occasion, Pennsylvania, right? I can do all of that somewhat routinely. And Westchester is big. Like, there's a lot to show off, just like there's a lot to show off throughout the 5 boroughs. So that occupies a lot of time. And that's what I mean by being practical. Like, I can't go throughout Rockland, Orange, Putnam, etc., realistically. So with all that being said, like, well traveled is like what's happening here, like, let's let's be about it. So we're in the Bronx right now. This is like Williamsbridge, right? White Plains Road. And well-traveled doesn't mean you have to be. I could take you throughout the Bronx, just the Bronx alone. And we could go deep into the trenches. Like, we could go to whatever project you could think of out here in the Bronx, the South Bronx, wherever, right? Again, we're in White Plains Road right now, Williamsbridge. But at the same time, we could go to bougie areas of the BX. And yeah, that, like, the touristy areas. And we could explore that, but then we could go to, like, in-between areas, right? And you will see, like, there are, in the Bronx, in-between areas. So that's why I say, like, realistically speaking, you just have to be well-traveled. You got to know. You just have to know. And I think that's the case in life, in general, Within life, if you know somebody, you know the plug, you know where to go, you know what to do, that's just how it's always going to be with almost everything. Yeah, so I'm just getting back to you, but eggs for sure. Lalo, you crazy. Like, I'm assuming you're talking about, like, raw eggs. Nah, I'm not doing that. Like, don't get me wrong. If I wasn't, like, a little leery on, like, not getting sick, I would do raw eggs and, like, non-pasteurized milk, I do that, but I stopped dairy a long time ago as well, so just getting back. Oh, you're in Las Vegas. Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. I'm just getting back. Las Vegas. Nice. I wonder what the temperature is out there right now. It's 54 degrees right now out here in the Bronx. 54 degrees Fahrenheit. I wonder what it is over there in Las Vegas at this time. I know it's kind of desert-like, so it probably really warms up during the day, and then it's probably chilly at night. But 54 right here, right now. I don't. Okay. Yeah, Ben. I don't know if you're still there. I'm just getting back. Shirk, you're completely correct on processed food, for sure. And that's why I've been kind of like how I've been for a while, you know? Um, Nassau County. Okay. Yeah. So we're talking about Long Island. I forgot about Yeah, I could do Long Island as well. Long Island is nuts because it's so big, you know? It's so huge. Like you have to drive. Long Island, I've said this before. Long Island to me is like the Texas of like New York, hence the name Long Island. But okay, Crown Heights, BK for sure. Now you're asking about Dobbs Ferry, Ben. That's nice. Dobbs Ferry is very nice. Okay. You got it. See? It's like a rush hour right now that starts at like 6 a.m. But Dobbs Ferry is a nice area, by Ardsley, Greenberg, White Plains. It's in Westchester County. Very nice area. And you were asking, Lila, I don't know if you're still there, but you were asking about Thanksgiving, right? So how does that work? It doesn't. It doesn't. Even if I'm like with family and they're celebrating Thanksgiving, like my mom, my dad, and family, if I was to join with them, I'm gonna do that thing I was just breaking down, where I was talking about like the 89. Don't roll your eyes at me. I'm just saying, the whole 89 thing, I'm not gonna have it. I'm not gonna have the cranberry, the stuffing, the gravy, the turkey, the alcohol if it's there, etc. I'm not gonna have it. I'm just not gonna do it. So that's how Thanksgiving works. Like for me, whatever the tradition is, I can appreciate it if I'm going to, minus the food. So that's just what it comes down to. Hoboken. You know what? Next time I'm in Jersey, I'm gonna see if I can shoot out to where some of these places are. Oh, 68 degrees right now? Wow. That's nuts. So it's almost 15 degrees warmer in Las Vegas right now. And it's going to be 90 today. Today is going to be like 58 or 60 degrees. So you have like 30 degrees of a difference. That's nuts. But yeah, as far as like the lingo out here, you already know. BX folks, BK people, Queens. Everyone got their own lingo. YO. Everyone's out here like with their own little swag, It comes out how it does come out, however it is. But for sure, people do have their little, and it does change every few years. Like, damn, Ben. Like, that's a crazy extreme, right? I bet you somebody in the chat from Florida is like, these peons. What? 40s, 50s, and 60s? It's 80 degrees in Fort Lauderdale right now. They're like, you peons. Like, talk about some real temperature. That's nuts though. 40s right now. I bet you like northern New York, like bordering Canada. That's why like the folks that are in Canada is it's like how do you do it? Like you might be in like the southern tips of Canada that borders New York or borders the US and it's still ridiculously cold. It might just be snowing right now. Unless you're by like British Columbia, I would say on the West Coast. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're by like Buffalo, Niagara Falls, like any of those areas, it's ridiculous. It might just be snowing right now. That's crazy. Like how? How? And we're talking about it's chilly in the 40s, right? At this point in of the year. But like that is it's crazy how it could probably even be in the 20s right now. But it is what it is, It is what it is. Everyone lives however they do. And shout outs to the people that live in Canada right now and not even just bordering the US. I'm sure you have a bunch of wonderful things that are happening in Canada and you're so used to the weather that it doesn't even faze you. Bernard, I'm not exactly sure if that question is to me. Have I ever done that? Yes, I have. I've done that before, and those are things as a man, I would say they're lessons, because you don't want to, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. As a man, you don't ever want to hurt anyone, because I genuinely feel human beings in general can be vicious. They can be lovely, but then they can also be sinister at the same time. And I think women in general are very precious on this planet as human beings. So as a man, if I've hurt those precious beings, one of those precious beings in the past, that's not something good that you want to then learn from and then just keep continuing to do. No, that's something you should learn from and say to yourself as a person that I should learn from and understand that that is not something you want to continue to have as a trait that you keep doing. Because now you're basically following something that continues to hurt people, right? And that's not a good thing. So to cheat and lie, I personally would rather just be straight up. So it might be a little uncomfortable, like if you're talking to someone, but just be straight up. Just be like, look, this is the deal. And if it gets a little like close where you and that, look, they have a Marshalls here. I didn't even know. They have a Marshalls right here in the middle of like a whole bunch of buildings. That's cool. But just be straight up. Let the person know, look, this is what it is. And if y'all start getting like close with one another, then it'll be uncomfortable, but be a man. Be a man and tell that person, like, look, this is the deal. You got to straight up tell that person. And you have to pump the brakes if you need to. And you have to let that person know. Straight up. Like, I know it feels good. I know it feels awesome when you're, you know, your partner is, because, you know, this goes out to not just a heterosexual type of relationship, but just in general, like two women, two men, whatever, right? You got to tell your partner, or you got to tell that person, if you're just talking to them, whatever the case may be, you got to let them know, like, I really enjoy our flow. And you obviously in your head, you're going to be thinking like, this will probably screw things up, but I got to be up front. And yeah, then the person might be on game and might think to them, they might get self-conscious. You already know that going into having this talk with the person, that might push them away. All those things are going to go in your head and probably in that person's mind. But it's better than, you know, you losing a friend and you losing the respect of someone because you got in too deep. And as a result, you winded up like making poor judgment calls, you know? And that's just what it comes down to. So that's the lesson as a man in how I see it. Because if you're just like openly dating and you let whoever you know exactly what time it is, then it doesn't matter, right? You could date whoever you want. And you don't have to worry about lying or cheating or any of that, right? They already know what time it is. So that's just what it comes down. That's how I see it, right? And the more control you have with that, the better off you're gonna be. That's just how I see it. You know, if you guys do a video with the Aki. Who's Aki Way guy? I'm not exactly Listen, tell Aki to like collab right now. Where's Aki Way? Like let's do a collab. He probably got a lot of subs, and you know how people are here in YouTube land. Be like, yo, listen, if you ain't got, like, why should I do a collab with you? Like, you ain't got your subs up. You know how they be, which I understand. But look, that's why we formed the community together, right? So we could, you know, be at the bodegas where he makes chops. See, I've seen a few of those folks that do, like, I seen the guy that does, like, you know, he got the camera behind the booth and then he be, you know, trying to clown on, chop on people. I seen him, but then I think I know the person you're talking about, and then he collabs with like people from everywhere, and then like they come together, and then they like, sometimes they make their meals, and then they do them together sometimes. That might, but I've seen a few people that are like that. So it might be the same person. I didn't really look to see if his hair, I don't remember if his hair is long or not, but my hair is definitely long as well. But yeah, it might be that same person. And I guess, but the only thing is, like, what will we talk about, you know? Because I'm not going to eat the food. So it's like, remember, I'm doing the Mobile 89. So it's like, what am I going to do there? We just going to be talking, like, and then it's like, he makes his food, he chops the cheese, he does his thing, and then he's going to be like, here, bust this down, try it, see how you like it. I'm not going to eat it. So it's going to be like, why'd you even come here? Like, you know what this channel is about. You're like, why'd you eat? Like, you're not going to eat my food. We just going to be chopping it up, kicking it, and then it's like, I make the food in front of camera, rolling, and then it's like, you know, it's one of those things. So it is what it is. Yeah, Ben. Like, so if you see the name of the channel, right? It's called Malabar Base's Soul, right? And, you know, they say, like, you know, let me flip. right? Let me flip right quick. So they say like every YouTuber, right, has like the sun is coming back out, so I can take the lights off. So every like YouTuber that like tells you like this is how you get your subs up. This is how you. Oh shoot, my battery's actually going down. It's the first time I ever experienced that, but not on the mic, but on my phone, because I got a brand new phone. I actually invested in a phone. I got a new plan. I unboxed this mic yesterday, so that was awesome, you know. And I got a new pair of glasses, so I got some new things. But these YouTubers will be like, look, this is how you get your subs up. This is what niche you have to like operate a certain way to get your sub. Listen, Malabar Bays' soul, that's me, Malabar Bays, right? So the soul of this channel is about whatever we want to talk about, you know? Because you just, like, the whole point of this live today, and we're approaching an hour, right, of me yapping away, right? But the whole point of this live stream was to discuss the final boss, right? And when you see the thumbnail, you're going to see like a mic, right? You're going to see a mic that is the final boss, which earlier on in, I appreciate that, Lila. You know, anything, breakfast, let's hold on a second, right? Because all of these places that you're referring to, like, they require something, right? Because it's a business. At the end of the day, everything is a business. So it's like, what do you provide? What do you offer for us to want to do something? Like the interest to have you as a guest, right? So with that not being there, with that as a missing component, the interest is not going to be there, right? So it's just like, at the end of the day, they have bosses, they have ratings, they have to make sure everything is like set to where there's interest, you know? So as far as Ben's question, right? Like, it wasn't until last year, I've been in YouTube for a while, but it wasn't until last year that I said, you know what? I'm out here and I'm constantly like out in these streets. Why not record it? You know? So that's when I started like, because it was always Malabar Bays' soul. But just recently I started really engaging with lives. And I thought like, it'd be more interesting besides touring New York, because people, like I always wanted that. I like, if someone is living in like, I don't know, Puerto Rico, right? And I didn't want to learn about Puerto Rico. If I never went to Puerto Rico myself, I wanted someone to do this in Puerto Rico, right? Like I wanted someone to, like, you know how you mentioned it's either the touristy parts or it's the trenches. That's the whole point of doing this. Like I want to show all the in-betweens. So like, I would love if someone in Puerto Rico, like you could be speaking in Spanish. You don't have to be talking in English, right? Like, but I want you to go everywhere in Puerto Rico and just show like just regular life. And then I would tune in and be like, oh, that's what Puerto Rico is like. Cool. That's what I'm doing out here in New York, right? So now it's like, obviously, me as a person, you're going to get that, right? You're just going to like learn about me Because if you, and I appreciate it, if you checked in and if you came in, then I appreciate that. And then we get to engage together. So we learn about one another at the same time. And as people feel more confident and comfortable, then it's like we all get to like engage with one another. So the channel really is about like whatever we as a community want to make it. Of course, I'm going to spearhead it, right? I'm going to like bring in topics. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to try and get folks to engage off of some sort of central theme, right? So today's central theme for this live stream over an hour now is about the final boss. So for me personally, we were talking about like it all came back down to when it was all said and done, financial independence. So that's what it all came back down to. Yeah, I talked about the mic, talked about some of these things, these new pieces of tech. I talked about a lot of different like moving pieces that have to be foundationally put together before, because if you're not ready for the money, then you're not if you're not ready for the money, you're either gonna blow it and then you'll be back to being in a place where you're not financially free or independent, or you become someone different and not in a good way because you weren't ready, because you didn't have all the pieces laid foundationally before you got financially independent, right? So that's why like I do my best throughout every single day to talk about the soul of this channel, the soul of like what I speak about personally, to talk about all the different things that, in my opinion, are important to lay down foundationally speaking, so that you can then see the growth and we grow together. When we put it all together and then we see how everything is getting to where it's getting to, like you might say something that sparks inspiration for me, and I might do the same, and I might just motivate you. So if we keep doing that every single day while we're touring New York, now you understand what this channel is about, right? Oh, cool. Boricua's in the house. Boricua's in the chat. You know, yeah, I just started, Lila. I just started. I went to the gym yesterday. What? I felt that little feeling you get, you know, when you do legs and you start feeling that burn. And then I got that little sweat that was coming down like underneath my neck, above my chest, and a little bit on like the middle of my back. I was like, oh yes, I missed this. It's been so long. Because my body's so conditioned to do like calisthenics that I don't even feel it. And I'm doing it outside. So it's like I don't even feel anything anymore. So when I hit the weights, it was like, oh yes, I missed this, you know? But yeah, I'm short myself, you know? I am not quite 6 feet and I'm not quite 5'5". So I'm in between. But so I'm gonna head into the gym again today, and I'm gonna make sure I knock out back today. So back is a pull, and that kind of works out biceps as well, because anything pulling wise, you will get biceps in, you know? So I can't wait, and Yeah, if you were here, Lila, we would have been getting, because I got four guest passes per month. So I'd have been like, yo, come on, let's do something. We can make it work, you know? But oh, I appreciate that, Ben. You know? Appreciate that. But so I was talking about this earlier, right? Ben, we're talking about like stacking to make money, to make your money make money, right? Safely. So that's what I was talking about with like whatever money you can afford to, because everything is a gamble in a sense, right? Like if you're trying to make money, safely is like it's one of those things, because you could be as safe as possible, but like it's not ever so easy. Like you could put some money in Verizon, right? And then it's a blue chip, and as a result, that money will give you like, I haven't checked in a while, but it will give you like a, you know, maybe 7% return, right? But the issue with that is like you might just be able to get that in the bank right now until, you know, the system changes probably for next year, right? Okay, so if you've done stocks and crypto, then put your money in Bitcoin, bro. Like what is like if you would have copped BTC at pretty much, you had the whole 2022 and 2023 to get in at 15. So if you got in at 15, and we're probably going to finish this cycle at 150, yeah, that's the thing. But here's the thing though, Ben. There's like in the whole crypto market, there's nothing more secure than Bitcoin. Right? So if you would have just copped at 15, if you would have stomached the volatility, if you would have went through all of that, because that's what I mean by safely is like, you know, like it is safe, but that doesn't mean it's easy, because you have to go through it, and you have to go through anything in life. Period. Like it's not ever going to be just easy. Right? So like I said, with BTC, if you would have 15'd it and went up to 150, that's a 10x. If you would have just put $100, that would have been $1,000, and vice versa, right? That would have been $1,000 in 4 years off of just $100. If you would have just put it to the side and just left it there and said, I'm not going to touch this, it'd have been $1,000 in 4 years, right? Or if you would have put $1,000 in, it would have been 10,000 in 4 years. Where else are you going to get that? You won't get that anywhere else. Or if you would have put 10,000 in, it'd be $100,000 in 4 years. You're not going to get that anywhere else. And it was safe if you would have just put it to the side and didn't touch it, right? But I appreciate that, Lila. Thank you for the sub. And, you know, I definitely hope to inspire a lot more great conversations, you know? But, yeah, but you know what, Ben? As far as Doge or any meme, like if you're talking about the volatility of Bitcoin was too much, like what are we talking about, you know? Because any meme coin, if you can't handle BTC, and that's pretty much boring, like, you sure as hell ain't gonna be stomaching volatility for any meme coin. That's just what it comes down to. But yeah, that's really it. I hope, you know, oh, by the way, Lila, I hope your day goes well with work. And What she mentioned right there with 2 new friends today, that is what the whole point is. That's what this is about, Ben, because I know you had asked that, right? Like, we want to have a safe haven where we can come together and we could discuss things like this because it's useful, right? Even if you don't engage in the markets and you don't go out and say, I'm going to work out right now because Bay's motivated me, because he said he's just started and he's going to start doing it regularly. No, but at the same time, if you checked in, which I appreciate as well, like, you don't have to sub, you don't have to like, you don't have to do any of that, right? You don't have to engage neither. But if you check in and you got something out of this and it helped you because it was useful, that's what this channel is about, you know? And regardless of whatever I spearheaded the topic to be about, we can still make sure we get like positive and productive content out of our conversations. Or even if it's not a live stream, like, people can engage and they can talk about whatever they want to talk about. Whether you want to be hateful, whether you want to just be objective, whether you want to be positive, it doesn't matter. Feel free. And when I put comments on, I put comments on to make sure they're, like, on my end. I don't know about YouTube, but on my end, no filters, nothing. There are no mods here. There's nothing being sold. None of that, right? No one's pushing you to do anything you don't want to do. And no one's pushing you to not do anything you want to do. So that's just what it comes down to. I appreciate it. Have a great one as well. And enjoy your day also. I'm going to get into the gym shortly. And yeah, I'll be back myself. And, you know, I spoke about this earlier when I was doing lives. It's just something about like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Look at that building right there. It's like, I don't know if it was burned or what. It's boarded up. Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, this is the BX, Nando. You know, we in the Bronx. This is St. Lawrence Ave and Gleason. So that's where we at. That's where we at right now. But yeah, I'm going to probably cut this short now. It's the longest live I've ever done. Shoot, a whole hour and change. And yeah, I'm gonna get into the gym. I'm gonna charge this phone, and that's really it. I appreciate that. I'm gonna, you know, I'm just starting, so the workouts are kind of like just taking it easy, and I'm gonna do that for the first few weeks. But I appreciate everyone for checking in. Until the next time, you know, I don't have a catch line yet to end with. Yeah, I kind of like exited out of like all the social media. So if you look at Malabar Bays, there's a Malabar Bays like in pretty much everything. But like, I exited out of Facebook, of Snapchat, of TikTok, of, you know, Instagram, everything. And I'm just kind of just chilling right here. Because I don't have any intentions on being famous or making money off of any of this stuff. No, I just want a community. Like, I want a solid group of people that come together and we just brainstorm on whatever it is we want to talk about, right? Without any restrictions, without anyone pushing anything on anyone. Like, you want to come in and wild out? I'm not going to have a mod in here, right? So if you want to wild out, wild out. You want to spam the chat? about whatever it is you want to spam the chat about, feel free. You want to come in with love? Listen, that's this is YouTube right here, Ben. So if you want to like put notifications on and anything related to YouTube that would allow you to get notified when something happens, you could do that. I think that's how it would work. But I'm not going to be the one to push anyone to jump on and sub or any of that, you know? That's like up to you. But this is YouTube, so if you do that, then it would happen. The only thing is, as far as like when it would happen next time, I don't really know. I don't schedule these things, you know? Like I could always take suggestions. It seems like around this like 5, 6 a.m. Eastern time, that's like when the most people tend to come through, like, you know, swing through, pop in and, you know, engage. I don't know why. Like I do lives at all times, but it just so happens that just happens to be a popping hour. 5, 6, 7, 8 a.m. That's where like people tend to be like coming in. So yeah, that's really it. And I'm gonna get into that gym now, make it happen, and feel free. Like anyone that ever wants to like, I read all these comments, you know. I may not respond because I said I was gonna do that anyways. Not that I'm being bougie or whatever. It's just I want to respond how I want to respond, and I respond over here. You know, this is where I will chat until it gets to a place where if it ever gets crazy, where like the chat's so nuts that I can't even keep up, then it's understood, right? Like I can't get to every single person, but I do enjoy every single person that comes through and engages, and we talk about things that are productive to discuss, you know, and that's what it's all about. So take care, y'all, and I appreciate the sub, Ben. You already know. We'll have another great one next time, and yeah, I'll also probably record a little bit of what the workout was about, just to provide some inspiration and to hold myself accountable at the same time. But thanks for checking in again, and have an awesome day. Peace.